throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Hey everyone, welcome to Garbage In, Garbage Out. I'm your host, Kelton, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Grift. How's it going?
It's good. Recovering from a New York City weekend, getting back into the rise and Grift as it always is. So, we're out here.
It's nice to know it's Bright Lights and the Grift City, I believe, is the music reference I think I'm going to make this time around now that we're actually recording, not the Taylor Swift one I wanted to originally go with. So that's growth and progress. But someone who actually does know about music is our guest, JJ Demon. How is it going, sir?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, really. We're just three dudes, all a little older than we probably should be to be making a podcast about Mortal Kombat this episode. So,
well, I don't know. I think that we are. I think me specifically, I am the exact age for this movie.
Good. Well, we will definitely be diving into that momentarily. I'm currently riding the high at the moment of being 3 for 3 on my Oscar predictions that we recorded last week with Babs, going with 2 Oscar wins to fucking Sound of Metal, and then of course Anthony Hopkins destroying the Oscars by winning for his performance in The Father and robbing Chadwick Boseman of an award.
What was Boseman up for?
Boseman was up for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I believe.
Okay. Well, so he starred in that? I thought he had like a smaller role in it.
No, he was the leading male actor.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't watch it.
Well, not a lot of people did, I don't think, unfortunately. But
I couldn't sit through Sound of Metal either. It started to freak me out. I started to be like, wait, am I also going deaf? Like, I really did. It was like, no, I can't watch this because already, like, if my ear starts ringing or something, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I never listen to podcasts again. Like, it's over for me. I can't do what I do. Like,
it's that tinnitus paranoia. It's real.
Wake up, start feeling the tinnitus. Can't turn it off. Can never turn it off. Let's go ahead and, I guess, talk about Mortal Kombat. It's about time. What did we think about this movie? Did we like it? Did we hate it? Grift, take it away.
I've had pretty much no exposure to Mortal Kombat associated media before this. Like I've probably played the video game like a handful of times in college or something. So I was aware of the concept, and it's like a fighting game, but obviously never watched any of the movies, not familiar with any of the lore or particular attachment to any character names or moves or anything.
Sure.
So I came in just complete noob.
You were wondering where the Soul Calibur cameo was going to be the entire time.
So I am representing the perspective of the normie American consumer who maybe doesn't have a nostalgic connection to this, or is of the right age to consume it on a serious interested level. So if this is to be another retreat of a remake to balance the books on like a streaming services audience to debt ratio, I am the person that this needs to excite, and it completely failed. So,
well, yeah. pain and suffering all across the board. JJ, what about you? What's your background with Mortal Kombat?
So it's interesting what Griff said, because I think that's why I enjoyed it, because first of all, ABACABB, that is the blood code. So I still remember it. All right. It's written into my DNA.
You say ACAB, I say whatever that was.
Now I haven't played it in probably 15 years.
Okay.
But definitely when I was a kid, the coolest thing on earth was knowing the blood code to Mortal Kombat. And, playing Mortal Kombat with the blood code, I guess.
Yeah.
that was it. That was the coolest thing. And then, of course, when you're a kid, you see the other two 90s ones that they made, which are dog shit.
The other two movies you're talking about, not the games.
Yes, the other two Mortal Kombat movies. No, I'm not a, can we say gamer on this podcast? You could bleep it.
I
Bleep
mean,
it in.
if you do it like with an A, I think it's okay.
Gamer.
There we go.
I'm not a gamer. As you and I have talked about a lot. I know I'm always jumping into the chat whenever I play a game.
Have you guys heard about this? Among Us. It's 2021, JJ. Come on. No, I think this thing could take off.
No, it's always weirder with me. It's always like, hey, have you guys ever played Sleeping Dogs? and everyone's like, no, we've never heard of that.
What the hell is that?
Oh, come on. It was this indie game that came out 7 years ago. It has 17 downloads on Steam. What, you guys haven't played Sleeping Dogs?
Well, because it's just Grand Theft Auto, but it's in China. Ooh. So it's cool. I just play open world games. That's all I give a fuck about. But anyways, the first of many tangents I'll be going on today.
Hey, I appreciate tangents because it makes people feel like we're having a conversation and not just doing a bullet time rundown of my just insane notes that are scrawled in blood on the walls of a cave. So
right,
I
people love
it.
when I come on because I don't even look at the layout that you send me.
That's important. That's good. It's all about freestyle with you. Excellent.
So yeah, I think like. Watching this movie was a bunch of like 30 to 35-year-olds, and every time a character did something from the game, we all went, "Oh hell yeah!" And that's like that's basically the extent of it. And I think I read an interview, which I don't normally do this, but I don't know how I came across it. But I read an interview with the director, which this is his first movie.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also written by a first-time writer, so. Hell of a combo.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they sort of did accomplish something here, where it's just like they kind of gave you the experience that you had of the game when you were a kid, where you're seeing characters that you know and like beat the shit out of each other, and it's gory as hell, and it's pretty well choreographed. I mean, for what it is. So yeah,
That's certainly an opinion, JJ.
I mean, like for being a game that came from a stupid fucking Sega Genesis game originally.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon video game ripoff. Let's not forget the humble origins of it.
I think it was like a dumb, fun movie that wasn't really. I don't think it was trying to be good. I think it was trying to do essentially what I think it did, which was just show a bunch of characters saying the things they say in the game and making a bunch of guys like me go, yeah.
Yeah, it's a video game movie, I think is a good way. I mean, like my own feelings about this movie are much more lukewarm in general. I mean, I would say it's a mediocre film. In general, I did like the fights. I did like the gore. I did like those aspects. The actual plot itself, I had a lot of issues with. We'll dive into that later in the breakdown part. But I mean, again, I think that, it wanted to try and kick off the Mortal Kombat universe, and for better or worse, I think it did do that, and I think it will be enough of a success that the next movie will build on the bones of this and potentially be very, very good. And so I think in terms of what it was trying to achieve, I did appreciate that as much as it frustrated me. I could see what they were wanting to do. Again, because in 1995, when the first movie came out, it was made with a PG-13 rating, so the teenagers that were playing Mortal Kombat could actually go and watch it. Now that all those teenagers are in their 30s and 40s, of course, it's going to be R/NC-17 in some parts, which, again, it kind of shows how the base has evolved. I know that critics in general gave this like a 5 out of 10, and the audiences give this like a 6.5 out of 10. So it's not exactly like people are bouncing off the walls here. So I would say if you're wondering whether or not you want to watch the movie, just look up on YouTube some of the fight scenes that come from it, and then if those entertain you, then great. Put it on, be on your phone during the dialogue, because it's really not that important. And just be excited when the fatalities occur.
Yeah, just fast forward through any of the talking scenes, and just like I feel like your audio, your overall experience would be much more like efficient and enjoyable.
I think now it's probably a good time as any to actually dive into the background information about this to document the long road that it took to get to this point of a good-ish Mortal Kombat movie, something that actually seemed to make the fans happy. Because that's what this movie, as Gigi said, was made for, was for fans of Mortal Kombat. So good job on that front. In 1992, the original Mortal Kombat movie came out, immediately followed up a year later with Mortal Kombat 2. 95, that's when the Mortal Kombat movie came out. Have y'all seen the Mortal Kombat movie recently?
I tried to sit through it. Like, oh, this will be bad, but like it's like so bad and incompetent you can't really even enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean it was a financial success. And I think a lot of that came from the fact of it was teenagers who don't really know like what good or bad movies are. And so they made it on a kind of a shoestring budget of sorts, 18 million, and it grossed over 120 million. So
holy shit.
Good job for them. Had no blood, no gore. There wasn't really any plot or characters that you would stick around for. So I wouldn't say there's any need for anyone to watch it, but it is one of those so bad it's good lists. I think.
No, we should push that everyone has to see the first two to be able to watch this new one
to understand it. That's the important thing.
You won't get it unless you watch. We have to watch Annihilation first, and then...
Yeah, I didn't follow those rules, and I was very confused.
Yeah. We just dog tooth the audience.
So then in 1997, the director of the first film, Paul W.S. Anderson, who has done like all of the Resident Evil movies, that's what he's gone on to do. He left the Mortal Kombat project to go direct Event Horizon. So good on him, I guess, for going to that movie. It's interesting. But anyway,
does he not know that you can't make horror movies in space?
Let's not create that discourse all over again, please, Grift. The last thing I need is some like British person who writes clickbait articles for The Guardian coming out and telling us what horror can or can't exist. Come on. So yeah, the project then, the sequel, it moves to this guy named John Leonetti, who is not a very good director, but is a pretty good cinematographer. And when they made Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it flopped critically and financially, and it's just a very, very bad movie. I mean, it made no one happy, including the studio. And so that is when they decided that they needed to kind of rework everything. So the third movie that they had planned was going to be called Mortal Kombat Devastation. And I
don't know why.
So
that's
it's
funny.
Mortal Kombat, then Annihilation, then Devastation. Just
that is a very funny word to name a Mortal Kombat movie. It seems like a step down.
He was annihilated. Oh no! Oh god, he's completely dead. He was devastated. Oh, he was emotionally hurt by what occurred at the
third one turns to the families of the victims.
It's a big therapy cry the entire time.
Are these titles referring to what these movies are doing to like the studio's like financial ledgers?
I wish. Yeah, pretty much the only one who made any money off of the Mortal Kombat Annihilation was Midway Games, because they were the ones who sold the licensing rights to New Line Cinema. So the third movie, of course, ends up getting tabled and pushed off on the shelf, and then it kind of falls into development hell for like 10 years. Like they wanted to make the third movie. They built a set in New Orleans, and then Hurricane Katrina happened.
Oh no!
A sign from God to go ahead and stop doing this movie.
He's like, I'll show you Annihilation.
So then in 2010, this guy makes a more or less proof of concept 8-minute internet video called Mortal Kombat Rebirth. and then he shows it to Warner Bros. And they go, oh, okay, well, this is pretty dope. We're not really doing anything right now. And we're at this weird juncture of the internet of where if you told the studio whatever you're making had the potential to go viral, whatever that means, it would probably get your project greenlit on a shoestring budget. And that's exactly what happened. That's where that Mortal Kombat Rebirth web series that lasted, Mortal Kombat Legacy web series that lasted for a couple seasons actually came from. So
that was
good
pretty
times.
cool. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think a lot of people, if people who have seen it or people who remember it, the first season is much better than the second season, because the first season is where they kind of get a little grounded, and the second season they have less of a budget but tried to do more special effects. So there's a lot of clunkiness with that. But the whole point of Legacy was that it would be each episode like a vignette into where each character in Mortal Kombat was coming from beforehand. So that was pretty cool. And then some of the ideas later got incorporated into the games. So good for that web series. There was going to be a third season called Mortal Kombat Generations, but then that ended up getting scrapped. And so it's kind of a weird thing of where the first one comes out and it's okay. The second one comes out, it's not very good. So then the third whatever movie or web series ends up getting scrapped. So it's like poetry, y'all. It rhymes. That's what happens. August 2015, that's where John Leonetti, he has not been a director, of course, because Mortal Kombat Annihilation is just a giant scarlet letter on that man's resume. And he has been working for James Wan as a cinematographer, doing the movies Death Sentence, Insidious, and The Conjuring. And so then James Wan ends up becoming the producer of the new Mortal Kombat movie that's rumored to be coming out. And then that's when that first-time director we were talking about earlier gets hired on, as well as this guy named Greg Russo to write the script. Budget was about $50 million. And I guess at this point, I want to kind of open it up to the floor a little bit here. Do you think $50 million is enough money for a good Mortal Kombat movie? Or did y'all think that it needed that kind of Marvel-sized budget of $120 million?
It felt like it was halfway there, because some of the effects felt very Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
So good?
The movie that does not exist. And then half felt like an actually interesting use of the way he froze the guy's arms and then cut him off. Is doing it like some new interesting clever things that looked pretty good with the budget they had, but then they weren't able to depict any outside realms of this world that they were supposedly trying to build the backstory of. Yeah. So it felt almost like cheesy how they were just doing all this exposition dumps on Earth and then talking about all there's all these realms and there's all these other places and there's this some sort of space combat tournament that decides who controls the worlds.
But we're gonna just show it on the wall of exposition here. No cutaways, no graphics.
Talk about
nothing.
Politics being sports. That's the next level of Roman Republic, gladiator. The way it's decided, the way political contests are decided are just people fighting in arenas, and that's how.
Listen, when you come up with the perfect political system, you don't stray from it.
Yeah. Okay. A marked improvement from what we had.
It was weird though that this movie, again, as expansive as the universe seems to be, a lot of it kind of seems to be shot in a desert or in an abandoned warehouse or just something kind of mundane. It's nighttime at a farmhouse or something. I'm sorry?
the two places people fight.
Yes, of course. That is honoring the 80s and 90s action movie roots, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you got to throw in there the early 2010s trend towards fighting in shipping ports. In cargo containers.
God.
There was just a ton of like shitty action movies in like the late aughts, early 2010s that had fight scenes that took place there. Like, what, they were getting like a really good deal on like the loading docks of like San Diego or something. Like,
Yeah, it had to honestly be a tax credit of some kind,
sure.
somewhere in Atlanta. They were just, hey.
Every movie had to have a huge drug dealer in it to justify the scene. This is where the heroin comes in. I thought the effects were kind of cool in that. Now, this could be just me because I have a 7-year-old son that really wants to watch this movie. So that's
Sure.
why I like that they looked kind of cartoonish. But I was sort of under the impression that they were going for a style that was almost cartoonish, like over the top to the point of it's like R-rated and gory, but almost in a PG-13 way where they didn't make it look super realistic, almost like the game. So I think it worked in that way.
That's an excellent way to put it, because I really do think that the effects that they did with all the fatalities, that is where so much of their budget went to. And those did look pretty cool and pretty badass. And it almost made me forget that whenever Sub-Zero would come in, there was like a shrink-wrapped pillar surrounding him that's supposed to be ice or whatever. It just...
It is weird that Goro looks exactly like the Hulk.
Yeah, Goro really does. Man, okay. You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Goro. Goro looks like the Hulk was a love child with that 2015 World of Warcraft movie. It looks like they just stole the fucking character models and they slapped it together. Because Christ, my God, is it that hard to try and have a guy just, not look like the Hulk?
No, you gave him 2 extra arms. It's original. It's a completely different thing now, even though it looks exactly the same. Like literally like the same like facial structure. I was like, is that the fuck? Like, just put 2 other arms on the Hulk and that's it.
It's genius, dude. Do you know how much money those Avengers movies make? Respect
the grift. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Hulk in this bitch,
too. You do knock off Hulk, but it's even more Hulk because there's 6 limbs.
Yeah, I really just wish that this that Goro got the, I don't know, not the respect he deserves, because I'm not sure he deserves any respect, but Goro got like unnecessarily fucked up. He got introduced as like, oh boy, look at this badass, and then he's just KO'd and murked within 5 minutes. Just he became a walking punchline here.
We were cheering, dude.
Good for Goro, I guess. So then in May of 2019, that's when they were actually doing filming for this movie. It was in Australia. Australia is like the new Georgia in the sense of they just give tax credits to whatever corporations are around. So let's all get used to filmed in Australia and Georgia being the 2 things.
An island of criminals.
Hey, I'm all in favor of more Hollywood pedos getting bitten by the most poisonous snakes in the world. Sounds great. Let's send them all to the like landmass that's been separated from the world island for so long that its animals have just all turned into absolute freaks through like genetic divergence.
I mean, Australia is the closest I think we have on Earth to Outworld. So you're not wrong.
This morning, Bryan Singer was killed by a tarantula. He forgot to check his shoes.
The reason I wanted to mention that, though, was that James Wan, the producer of the movie, he also directed Aquaman, and he brought a lot of the stunt talent that he used in Aquaman to this movie. And I think that kind of shows, because the stunts and stuff, the action, are by far and away the most professional part of this movie. Like, that looked like it was all done by seasoned pros. But I guess we can go ahead and talk less about Australia, and then we can talk about something that is important in America, and that's consumerism, specifically our sponsored segment. So, Grift, what have we got going on this week?
This week on the Grift Shop, if you want to participate in helping to kill an online meme, we have Boil the Rich shirts. And just search Boil at grift.shop for those. And if you like them, pick one up.
Perfect. And then this episode also is brought to you by JJ's Album. JJ's Album. For more information, contact JJ.
Well, you don't have to contact me.
No,
You can
find
just go
him.
on-
Dox him.
Just go on whatever streaming service that you use. I'm trying to drop a new single. Like, definitely in May, I will have a new single out.
Hell yeah. That is dope. Can't wait to do a marketing push. Let us know what we can do on
I
that
will.
front.
Yeah, the album will be shortly after that, but the single is like ready to go. I'm just, the suits and ties.
Exactly. But yeah, it's time that we move away from this world of corporatocracy, and that's why I'm so glad that we have spent this episode talking about a product from AT&T and subsidiary Warner Bros. It's a truly wonderful feeling the entire time. Are we ready to go ahead and do a rundown of the plot? Actually, sink our teeth into this movie.
Plot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Stretching it a bit.
Hey, it's 4 letters. It's a big word sometimes. I know that movie
I may
was
have watched
stumbling.
the wrong movie.
All right. So, in 17th century Japan, Bihan and the Lin Kuei assassins attack a village of the rival Shiraryu. I'm butchering that, but it's okay. Because that's the clan where Scorpion is from. And wouldn't you know it, Bihan, who becomes Sub-Zero, kills Scorpion's wife and son, though the infant daughter is hidden under floorboards. And Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they fucking duke it out. I love that fight. What did y'all think about it?
Awesome. Yeah. That was cool.
I mean, I would say that probably the Sub-Zero Scorpion fights were the highlights for me of the movie. So it is funny that HBO Max released the first 7 minutes that included some of their fight at the beginning. So, you can watch what is arguably the best part of the movie for free, no matter what, even if you don't have
it
an
was
HBO.
dope.
Yeah,
It was cool. They had the baby in the under the floorboards the whole time. So you got that in the back of your head. Like, it was cool, man. I liked it.
it was as a like a digestible 10-minute video or whatever. Like you said, it is like the best composed sequence in a way where the title card drops at the end of it with the music and after the fight, like it just like it sort of would hype you up for a movie that you didn't get in a way.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
Very true.
It's almost like I don't know, like if they had done some other movie where it just focused on like Scorpion's revenge. I don't know what the working title for that could be, but just focus on Scorpion and Sub-Zero and the conflict that they have throughout that. Maybe you have it set in Netherrealm and you watch Scorpion duking his way through hell, becoming Samurai Doom guy all the way through. That could have been pretty cool, I would imagine, all the way.
Yeah.
They didn't do that though.
Yeah.
Instead, we get to watch Lord Raiden appear with his goddamn white eyes and take the infant daughter away. And we're like, oh boy, what's going to happen here? What island is he going to traffic this child to?
Yeah, they should have just made like John Wick, but in this universe, like him getting revenge and just
That
fucking
is exactly
everybody
the
up.
plot of the animated movie Scorpion's Revenge that I was trying to get y'all to watch.
right.
But it's okay.
All right,
It's fine.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
I can't get into the animation. That was my problem.
The simple point is that Warner Bros. Already did the plot exactly correctly, and if they had just taken that movie, made it live action, it
Right.
could have worked, because you got the Mortal Kombat tournament and all these other characters, but the main plot really was Scorpion and Sub-Zero and then their rivalry. Because, I mean, that's what helps make the video games stand out. And so the fact that we cut away from what should be this pivotal moment in this pivotal story, and instead we flash forward 400 years or so, so that way then we can start talking about a new original character, Cole Young.
That was so jarring. Like I was just like, wait, we're in the modern world now. Like it didn't make any sense, and I was like, how is this connected? Like, what is the relative like time and space difference between these places? Just not explained to the beginning, and it was a sort of like the vibe shifted after it started off pretty well, and then it just sort of never fully got back to what you were sort of promised out.
Yeah, I mean they spent so long trying to build up lore, and the lore that they're explaining actually then makes the first 10 minutes, which are so cool, actually not make that much sense, because we're told in the movie that there's this big tournament that goes on. It's going to be Mortal Kombat, and each of the Earthrealm champions are identified by a distinctive dragon mark, which would explain who is going to fight in the tournament. And Scorpion's bloodline, the mark is passed down from generation to generation, which at least for everyone else, the dragon mark is only if you kill that person do you then get the dragon mark, meaning that like a baby, I guess, gets the dragon mark the second that the child is born. I'm not sure how it works in the Scorpion bloodline, because it just keeps on getting passed down, even though if Scorpion had the birthmark, Sub-Zero should get his marking, right?
Right, yeah, because okay.
So it's you got like the both like race science like
Yep, that's what I'm going for.
But also like you said you can get the thing through like defeating someone in combat and taking it from them, or is
precisely
okay.
Yeah, It works through combat for everyone else, but there's a magical bloodline, and that's the important thing to focus on. Never mind the fact that like if you have multiple kids, the whole thing kind of falls apart. So, good luck with that.
Yeah, do they all have to fight?
Yeah, it's triplets. I'm
have
so
to fight
sorry.
Each other.
So all these warriors now get a dragon mark put on them. Cole Young thinks that it's a birthmark. Our hero, who is kind of like an NPC of sorts, he doesn't have like a real personality to him. So we're supposed to kind of project whatever we bring onto him. Did y'all like that approach or not?
He just sort of melted into the background. Just dime store Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it was the writers like banging their heads against the wall trying to figure out how to make this movie, and they were like, let's just throw a regular guy in there, like instead of trying to follow somebody's story, and let's throw a new guy in there, and then everything can happen around him. It seemed like a writing room thing.
And I don't like to jump all the way ahead, but in this case, I really do want to jump on this right now. Is that I really think that the first draft of this movie was going to be you follow Cole Young, and then you find out in a big reveal, not something that's telegraphed way ahead, that he is a descendant of Scorpion, and that his arcana is getting Scorpion's ability. So he becomes the new Scorpion. I think that had to have been one of the drafts of the movie. And that was going to be like the big reveal. It's kind of like he's fighting with the wisdom of the ancestors, blah, blah, blah. As he then becomes Scorpion to defeat Sub-Zero. That is not the case at all whatsoever. They give him instead like a rubber suit that's supposed to be good for defenses, I guess. Great, I suppose. It just felt like a rewrite. It felt like this movie was ratcheting up to one thing, and then there's a big left turn it makes right in the middle of the film for no apparent reason other than, I would assume, again, rewrites.
Have they released how much money this made in theaters?
I believe they did like a box office estimate.
Okay.
Well, it's again, like we've said this, already had occasion to make this point multiple times in this show, but it's like more difficult to ascertain how much money movies are making now, because with a much larger percentage of it coming from streaming, like it's a lot easier to like inflate and obscure those numbers when it's just like publicly released estimates, and however those numbers are played towards, they're more or less like hard numbers in terms of like real cash money being distributed to the people involved in it, and more so like how can this be pitched to the executives of the media company that owns this streaming service to see if you can get the sequel made to continue selling associated media around with it, like, because this is just another you were talking about how it's supposed to appeal to people of your age because you grew up like playing the games and stuff. It's like,
and you're the age group that's buying the HBO Max subscriptions.
Yeah.
So, this is again the estimate right now. It'll be official later on, but the estimate is around 24 million. As of right now, which is not bad considering pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. That's not bad.
For right
and
now,
it's
yeah,
also available on HBO Max. So that's the real thing that AT&T cares about, is how many subscribers they're able to get from that, because that's what they're really betting on. They don't care as much about the box office. Probably if it breaks even at the box office, but then they get XYZ 1,000 subscribers, they'll take that as a win. Back on the actual plot line of it all, Cole and his family, they're attacked by Sub-Zero, but then Special Forces Major Jax Briggs rescues them, and in a chase scene where Sub-Zero is throwing snowballs randomly. He can't throw ice
first
daggers.
He just makes it snow, which I thought was funny. Just like regular flurries. Like,
he has the power of Christmas behind him.
First he threatened them with wonder.
Some of the ice throws seem kind of cheesy and not very actually destructive. Like they were just like the car was driving away and it was just getting sort of like hailed on a bit.
Yeah,
no damage. Yeah.
It is great. So there's a chase where they're kind of running away from forces of nature, which I was like, oh God, no! Please don't tell me they're going to turn this into an X-Men movie. That was what I was really afraid of happening right then and there. But thankfully, Jax just becomes an exposition machine and explains like what the dragon mark means and about how Cole and his family need to get to Gary, Indiana, and then they'll be safe, I guess, because that's where his
back
partner.
in time to kill Michael Jackson.
Jax is played by this guy named Makad Brooks, who is James Olsen on the Supergirl CW TV show. So it was, I'm sure, a delight for people kind of in that world. I don't really follow it that much anymore, but apparently he got super jacked for this role, which it's always a delight to see an actor put on like 30 pounds of muscle and then half the time realize that they don't even need to. So
right.
Especially him, like, oh man, those are some really toned arms. It would suck if something happened to him.
You always got to respect the grift of the actors that use like a small bit part role in a film or movie to just get absolutely jacked.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? If someone was like, hey, we're gonna give you a nutritionist and a whole exercise plan and a personal trainer and a personal assistant to help make sure you hit certain goals, man, oh no, that sounds awful and miserable. Please, no, don't do that to me. His life expectancy probably went up 6 years because of this movie. Congratulations to him. So Jax, of course, helps Cole get to safety, and then he stays and he fights Sub-Zero. Let's talk about this fight. Finally, an actual, Mortal Kombat style fatality. What did we think?
That fucking rocked. Like, and it was funny. It was funny, like how sort of like silly and comical the ice throws were, but then when he actually had him by the shoulders and was freezing him and then breaking the arms off, like that was pretty like horrifying. And the way like the blood, like his just like arms came apart as ice, but there was also like the blood was still under there, and that was pretty for the budget they had. That was pretty well pulled off, and felt like a video game movie as opposed to like a movie made based on a video game.
Yeah,
like it was there. Yeah, it was true to that spirit. It felt like.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I especially liked after he breaks his arms off, the way he just sort of flops his body down through that, like, and he like he smacks into like another floor and then hits the ground. Like that alone would have killed him.
The disrespect. Just
Although, gotta say, I just always love those moments when a random body or in the movie just falls off and gets extra fucked up. Like when the Titanic is sinking, and the guy just falls down and hits the propeller blade really loudly.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. One of the all-time greats.
It's so great too, because like James Cameron like didn't have to put that in there. Like the guy could have just fell. Like, but he's like, no, he's gotta hit the propeller too. Like, fuck this guy.
He knew exactly what kind of movie he wanted to make with that. It was all for that
really
scene.
Happened. Like people did actually.
We have to represent the lived experience of that guy. Who absolutely, at least one person, probably like someone in the like third class steerage who managed to climb their way to the top of the boat and then slipped off. Like
the things I witnessed, my dearest Dorothy, while aboard the Titanic, watching our dear friend Gregory get his shit absolutely rocked by one of the blades.
But yeah, no, Jax falling off and hitting the thing on the way down was it reminded me of that.
I mean, and this is where the movie kind of it doesn't necessarily slow down, but it's where we get a good feel for some of the characters, because Cole then goes and visits Sonya, who describes the whole Mortal Kombat situation to Cole, and then this is where we're introduced to Kano, who's a leader of the Black Dragon organization. And Kano, I don't know about y'all, but he's like the MVP of this movie in my mind.
Yes.
Like
every time he's on screen, the movie works.
Exactly. He's funny. He's quippy. He gets absolutely wrecked, like in every fucking scene that he's in, and he keeps popping back up. It's amazing. He's an Australian spider, really, is what it is. It's just the guy won't die. So congratulations to him, I guess, because I mean, this is a breakout role for this actor. He hadn't really done too much of A-list blockbuster work, but I would assume now, man. We're watching a star in the making here.
Yeah, his inbox is full right now.
I'm just thinking about how with Kano, especially as a character, JJ, I don't know how much, again, muscle memory you have when you playing the video game, but he is just a real asshole to try and fight. And so it was nice to see that they really translated that on every level into the movie. Just like, what a fucking prick.
I don't really remember it, but at first I thought he was the guy that had blades for arms.
Oh, Baraka? Yeah.
But he wasn't in this, right?
No.
Okay, so they saved some people, because that's one problem I had with it. Not a problem necessarily, but I was wondering where they're going to go, because they blew their load on so many of the characters.
Yeah, but I mean, again, a lot of the characters that got introduced, there were a couple big names, but I mean, the roster at this point is like 70 something characters now.
Really?
In Mortal Kombat. So
okay.
Like they got shit to spare, at least in my mind. So yeah, we're introduced to how the actual dragon marks transfer, that Kano killed a guy in Brazil, and that's how he got his dragon mark. Which, again, I have questions about how these dragon marks work. Like, one person gets selected, and then it's like the birthmark version of the monster from It Follows, basically, where you just kind of keep transferring it over based on who you kill. And then
what happens if you just die of old age? Like, does God get it, and then you have to fight God?
That's the goal. I think you attack and dethrone God. That's the plan. Attack and dethrone Raiden. Let's make that a shirt. So, yeah, my pitch for how I would immediately try and fix this movie, if we're not going to have Sub-Zero and Scorpion be the emotional resonance and kind of the through line from scene to scene, would be that you just kind of make Sonya the main character, because her and Cole have basically the same arc. Like, it is bullshit that she is so talented and can kill other people, but because she doesn't have her arcana, all of a sudden she's not allowed to play with the boys in the sandbox. It just really kind of feels like there was a lot of double dipping going on.
Yeah, when that lizard guy got his heart ripped out, that was fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do think that with at least Reptile coming in, it was weird to see him actually be a reptile, because originally, he was a green ninja guy that could then shoot poison out of his mouth. So really nice to see that they actually made him look like a legit assassin reptile, and then to see fucking Kano wins ripping his heart out made me appreciate this a whole lot.
Yeah, that was awesome. That really rocked.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where you could tell, like, even though I'd never played the video game that much and couldn't recite the catchphrases or immediately recognize them, like, you could tell, oh, okay, this is a fan service moment. Like, this is trying to make that epic, like, okay, this is just like you're playing a video game type thing. And it was like very like, as a noob on the outside, it was you could see the strings, I guess, on that, but not entirely not on purpose, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that it was done in a way. I mean, I think if you go into this movie knowing like what it is and what it's trying to do, I think all that stuff is completely forgivable. You know what I mean? Like, and almost noble in a way, because it's like they just went for it. It's just like we're back to the days of just like, let's make a dumb shit movie with a ton of cool shit to look at, and we'll make like this group of people really happy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Godzilla versus Kong was definitely in that lane. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All of Warner Bros. Movies have like this like bizarre similarity to them. Like of where there's just this idea of trying to build out an entire world, mostly through like watching a wall and looking at various paintings that occur. That happened with Wonder Woman and Darkseid and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then Kong in the Hollow Earth.
Yeah,
he's looking through.
Yeah, each studio like has their own like sheen that their movies.
No,
have.
It's all Warner Bros. Grift.
Yeah.
It's all. It's the same trick with this one studio. I'm tired of it.
Like Disney has that sort of like TV sitcom style filming with like pastel colors. Warner Bros. It's basically turning into just Zack Snyder aesthetic, and you gotta love it.
Okay, Zack Snyder's Mortal Kombat might actually be fucking dope though, with the way he can direct action. So
they're just all sad.
Yeah, it would be a very sad, not fun movie. It would be 4.5 hours long, but man, those kill shots just works of beauty. Every frame a painting.
Take the budget they gave the Justice League recut and put it towards this. And I think
they spent more on the reshoots for Zack Snyder's Justice League than they did on the entire Mortal Kombat movie. Like, as a frame of reference here.
Dude, I think I'm gonna rewatch the Snyder cut. Like, I think I might have liked it.
It's okay. We all have problems. The first step is admitting it.
There's a black and white version now too, right?
Yeah. He did that to sort of flex on us and be like, look, I actually care about like the color scheme. Like when you watch this in black and white, you can tell that I like, the contrast is real and all that shit. Apparently it looks better than Mank. That's what I've heard.
I'm sure because, Mank is Mank. But they also did that though for Godzilla versus Kong. Fans did edits of Kong and Godzilla fighting in black and white. So then Sonya and fucking Cole and Kano, they all realize they need to get to Raiden's temple, and that's kind of in this unknown spot that only Kano knows. So the three of them end up going to Desert Australia, TM. That's definitely not the same set that they use for Outworld and all that. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where they run into Liu Kang and Kung Lao, who are two Earthrealm champions. And Jax is also there because apparently Raiden came in and scooped up his bloodied body and then gave him just the wimpiest little robot arms.
Yeah. Those are so spindly.
It's nice that they actually can function as hands, but man, it looks insulting. Like
They don't look built for fighting.
they barely look like they're built for eating or existing. Like it's some real bullshit is what it is. But what did we think about Liu Kang and Kung Lao? Do we like the casting, like the actors?
I don't know. It's not like I didn't really have a whole lot invested in those characters.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, people just keep like popping up, and then you're introduced to them, and then they win or they die, and then it's just moved on to the next person that to be introduced. Just like it was. I imagine there is a significant investment that people who are have watched or like played the game and watched the movies like have already, so they don't feel it's as necessary to like just drop a whole lot of like emotional exposition on people. But like it felt very cursory and just like moving on to the next one.
Well, and I think a lot of that came from the fact that Liu Kang was the main protagonist in the 1995 and 1997 Mortal Kombat movies. So they were probably trying to not reshape it to where he's the protagonist, even though he has one of like the coolest backstories in the world of an orphan raised in the temple, decides to go after a child trafficker, no QAnon connections there whatsoever, kills that guy, gets his dragon mark, becomes a champion. Man, wouldn't that have been a cool movie? Oh well, anyway, I'm going to explain it to you while I'm bandaging you up and give you that exposition. Also, Liu Kang is played by Ludi Lin, who is the Black Power Ranger in the 2017 Power Rangers reboot. He was also the male avatar in the Striking Vipers episode of Black Mirror that parodies Mortal Kombat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, he's kind of found a good niche, I think, for him a little bit.
Yeah.
So
that's a nice nugget.
Yeah. Just I'm trying to delight people with that little light bits of trivia.
I'm delighted.
So then they all meet with Raiden, and he bitches about how they suck, essentially, right? He's like, "What is this? Oh my god, this is awful." Sure,
He's like,
I'm
you all
the
suck, and one of you's a girl. What?
I'm not going to even acknowledge one of you. Like,
I mean, he bitches about the team that he's assembled, and it's like, well, no shit, you lost 9 straight times, Raiden. Like, you fucking suck at this recruiting aspect. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of on him.
It really is. I swear to God, you get Nick Saban, head coach of Alabama, put him in the Raiden role, and the Earthrealm is going to win Mortal Kombat like at least every other year. Like, they're going to be competitive in the running. Like, Nick Saban is going to be recruiting like 14-year-old athletes, getting them to be tiny little child soldiers and killing machines. Like, he'll make it happen.
Yeah, he's like some like shitty college coach at like a D3 school where they don't care enough to like replace him, but he's been there forever and the program just sucks and it keeps getting worse and it just can't attract any talent. But of course it's not his fault at all.
But he still makes 70 million.
Yeah. but the football program like it takes all the money and some buildings don't have Wi-Fi.
It's for anyone who's not familiar, wouldn't expect y'all to be. There is a very small D1 school, borderline D2, called Chapel Hill. And Chapel Hill's whole football program exists to be a cupcake team for other good, talented teams to just fucking curb stomp into the ground and beat like 75-3 over and over again because they get paid like $4 or $5 million each game by those big schools to be a cupcake. And that money then funds the entirety of the rest of their athletic department. So it's awful.
That's like
college athletics.
That's like some like sadomasochistic like financial power relationship there. There's some deep shit going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with college athletics, but we won't focus on that right now because that's when the Outworld finally attacks. Shang Tsung invades the temple with Sub-Zero and Melina, but Raiden erects a giant fucking sky beam that's as a shield this time. So it's not the sky beam that, again, Warner Bros. Movies get made fun of in their superhero movies for, because it's a shield. It's very different, Grift, you see. It's not the sky beam that exists in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad or any of those other things.
Yeah, it does the exact opposite. It has the exact opposite function. It doesn't destroy things; it protects things. So yeah,
that's right.
Even though it looks the same, there's we're being original here.
Yeah, so he basically then buys them time inside this bubble, so that way then Cole and Kano can train with Liu Kang and Kung Lao to try and unlock their arcana. Because like Liu Kang, he can shoot fireballs out of his hands, which it's great to see. Again, Kano just getting his shit wrecked by Liu Kang shooting a fireball right at him. Like that's a delight. And then Kung Lao has his magic hat, which I want to make fun of the hat, but then I realized that at least with the way the movie's shot, Kung Lao is Captain America with his fighting style on this. Like,
oh yeah,
I mean, he made it look badass.
Although
it was badass to play him in the games, but it's cool to see that on screen.
Yeah, that kill scene where the hat turned into the
oh yeah,
roller,
the fucking saw.
Yeah, like rolling
awesome.
saw. Like that was like, you talk about him like they're aping Captain America fighting style or whatever. That was far cooler than anything Captain America has ever done in any of those shitty movies.
Come on, don't give Disney ideas.
Like,
Disney will be like, oh, this is what the people want, huh? Okay.
I mean,
spinning saw of death.
Just like Captain America becoming like a hard R, like hyper nationalist, like blood and guts, like just he's just like chopping up like Iranian terrorists and like just it's just like the worst propaganda.
Directed by Craig Zoller.
So Kano then is able to unlock his arcana, and that's a giant laser beam that comes out of his eye. So hell yeah, we get to see that special move actually occur. And Cole just continues to suck shit, basically, the entire time. Fucking Sonya is out here. She is rehabilitating Jax. She is owning Kano left and right. She's holding her own. And Cole is being real sad looking through eye photos of his family.
Yeah, he's like walking around like with his head drooped down like Charlie Brown. And he's like, oh, why can't I get my arcana?
It's the Virgin Walk meme guy. Yeah. Literally, yeah.
The Chad Sonya versus the Virgin Cole.
I'm just continually shocked by just how many pictures come out of people in real life, having down in the dumps moments, just that exact same gait and stride. And it's like there was one of Trump doing it, walking by the ACAB graffiti. There was there's so many things that just prove that meme is one of the just hit the nail on the head better than most.
Really just crystallizing a zeitgeist and then preserving the moment for all time. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. So Raiden then explains to Cole his lineage. Oh wow, it's a plot twist none of us saw coming, because Cole is a descendant of Scorpion. Whoa, who would have known with Cole's black and yellow fighting colors that he would be related to Scorpion? Not at all telegraphed, right?
Yeah, you gotta streamline those aesthetics. Your audience is babies, and babies respond to bright colors. So one bright color over here, one bright color over there, then they can differentiate between them.
Well, speaking of babies, you think the sequel will have babalities? Remember that?
Oh God, I wish I would be so
How
for
could
it.
they work that in?
What is this? It's a magical bracelet that every time you kick them, it makes them go back in time. I don't know.
But then you'd have to have someone killing a baby in Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, but Sonya is more than capable of doing that. She's not going to lose her dragon mark. She'll fucking slit any baby's throat. Just so then Shang Tsung gets Sub-Zero and Melina, as well as then a group of other people here. You know, we got Goro, Cabal, Rico, and Natara. They all just try and go on an assault at the temple, and Kano, of course, does a heel turn. It's the most inevitable thing in the world, and I respect him for it. He wants to build a casino where Raiden's temple is, and I kind of want to watch that movie too. So, critical support for Kano getting what he deserves.
I like the chick with the what the hell? Her face is like split open.
Oh yeah. Melina. Yeah,
Melina, is that her name? Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, just again, one of the actual A-listers. It's unfortunate that they got rid of her here, but you know, again, death is not the end, as we're told over and over again. So that then kind of brings out a whole fight of sorts. Liu Kang fends off Cabal. Kung Lao is able to then beat Natara. Kung Lao is again just a real badass with that fucking saw hat. I just can't get enough of it.
He rides the guy's body into it too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Pilots it in. Just
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Just-
that kill was probably the dopest moment. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Definitely the highlight of the movie in terms of that. Cole, having been sent away, he and his family are then attacked by Goro. And wouldn't you know it, his Arcana finally activates once his family is threatened, which apparently Raiden knew about, which means that Raiden purposefully put Cole's wife and child in the murderous path of Goro if it meant that the Arcana would activate. Because, I mean, goddamn, Raiden.
Means to an end.
Again, really wish that maybe y'all could have figured this out ahead of time instead of spur of the moment here, but it's okay, because Cole, again, he gets a magic rubber suit of armor that allows him to dissipate kinetic energy. So it's like one of those Wakandan Black Panther suits, in other words, because after it takes enough of a beating, he then develops weapons on his hands. So, yay. Real original idea here.
Yeah, you got those powers up.
Also kind of not fair. Like,
No, not really. No, just
Like the worse you
hitting him
get
only
beat-
makes him stronger.
yeah.
Some real fucking bullshit is what this is. Poor Goro. I love how Goro, by the way, is almost about to finally kill Cole because he realized he can just choke Cole out. And then Cole's wife comes in with an axe right into Goro's back. Just Jesus Christ. Even the wife is getting in on this.
Yeah, something about like when axe kills when they're done right. Like it's particularly like satisfying the way, like, I don't know. It's
It's great.
level.
It's great. Also at this time, Jax is able to unleash his Arcana because his Arcana, whereas everyone else is getting like quasi mystical abilities, he just gets super jacked arms, which, good for him. I think that he really needed that to be his special ability. Imagine if he just got super jacked legs, but still has little wimpy arms.
Like they gave him the arms he should have had to begin with. They just gave him normal arms.
Yeah.
Because he was already jacked. It's like, okay, you're just gonna like you give him these pathetic little arms to start out.
Well, and I mean, and it's at this point where amidst all the chaos and people are fighting a little bit and doing their initial skirmishes, that we finally get all the characters at their full ability sets, basically. We're like 80% of the way done with this movie, and we finally get all fully formed characters instead of, I don't know, having them all be fully formed by the end of the first act. So, great. I love this prequel setup to build an entire world out that Warner Bros. Is doing with every goddamn movie. It's a wonderful thing all the time. So Raiden then is able to teleport every Earth fighter but Kung Lao into the safe space of the void. Kung Lao unfortunately gets his soul eaten by Shang Tsung, which I really think that they did that because Kung Lao is a little too OP in this movie. So they kind of had to write him out real fast.
Yeah, gotta love when one writer's involved in the script, their thing ends up, to maintain some sort of consistency with one thing, you have to sacrifice basic like fight or what logic of the universe to overcome
I mean it.
that.
He has a blindingly fast, can move in any direction magic saw hat. That seems like you could fix a lot of problems if you're Kung Lao. Just fucking bounce that shit off of everything, wipe everyone out.
Yeah,
victory.
Like I feel like that sometimes could be like in these like showdown fight movie things. There's always that one super dope move that they bring out like once because it's awesome and you got to include it. But usually it would be something they would be able to do multiple times or would have brought out earlier. But no, it's dictated by the moment in the script, not like, what would be the actual logic of the situation. Like you would have used that to defend your life like much sooner, like
right?
Godzilla with the laser breath.
Yes, exactly. Oh, now you're doing this, Godzilla. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. So happy for you. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, I waited till I was almost dead. And
so Raiden is there with the surviving members of his group in the green screen room O, explaining the third act and what exactly is going to go down, because they knew that it was going to be a shit show trying to follow everything. So I appreciated that they just told us what was going to happen instead of showing us, because that's good storytelling, right? Telling, not showing.
yeah, it's in the name, telling.
Yeah, I like to write in the passive voice to tell you what I should be showing you.
Well, because it's just like, oh, well, we actually haven't had Mortal Kombat yet, but we're going to bring Mortal Kombat to them. And like, that's not how Mortal Kombat works. Mortal Kombat is a combat among all of the 7 realms that everyone brings their fighters. You can't just have it be between Earth Realm and Outworld. Like, it doesn't work that way exactly. And it just, again, I don't really understand what they're going for, but they were trying to give us justification for why everyone was going to suddenly get teleported and have 1v1 fights with fatalities. So, fine. That's Mortal Kombat enough, I guess, for us.
Yeah, the world building and backstory exposition drops, it felt both underdone and overdone at the same time, which was frustrating and definitely like broke your immersion. And then particularly just being like told all this huge the world implication stuff at the end and just not seeing it because of probably budgetary considerations. If we're going to be honest,
we can't forget the other thing that WB though has all of their protagonists do, and that's getting some weapon that belongs to their long ago ancestors, like Superman's black suit or Kong's fucking axe, or in this case the kunai from Scorpion that Cole ends up getting, which just, it's always great. The MacGuffin o' wonder, and we'll see how that ends up playing out, right? Definitely won't come into play later on.
Yeah. Do you think that there was enough buzz created around this that they're going to make a sequel? Because
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, again, following the Mortal Kombat tradition, the sequel will suck shit, and then we will never get a third one. Like that is generational ways of operation at this point, every 10, 15 years.
Because I always get like a little bit of like schadenfreude when series that are based on older properties where they're just putting it out to use it as another something they know has a built-in audience, but they don't actually care about staying true to the spirit of it, and it's just like a cynical cash grab. It felt like this felt like they were making an attempt to be true to the spirit of it, but like with the way they very consciously included the video game lines and the fighting tournament format. and the way, you know, it would consciously break down and away from the typical format of like, you know, a film to, yeah, you know, like it was bringing a little bit of the video game, the way the video game media, the way the interactive experience and presentation like flows is different than film. And they brought out like, you know, they brought a little of that into the movie. And like, so I don't know, it felt genuine in that way, but also the fact that they, you know, the reason they're doing the world building is to MCUify the extended universe and just keep creating properties that they churn out on streaming services to get like subscribers to the
exactly.
Yeah, it's cynical and you know, when these things fail, you know, you do get to have some, you know, a little bit of Schadenfreude.
It's going to be short-lived though, Griff, because I really think like the big lesson from this is going to be Netflix throwing $150 million and making like a Street Fighter TV show. Like I think like that's going to be what Netflix does. Yeah, just, and each episode will get one fight or, you know, half of a fight. And then, you know, it'll be the opening scene of the next one. Who knows?
Well, if it triggers the making of something, you know, super sick, then, you know, more power to it. Yeah, it served its purpose. You know, like how Nancy Pelosi said that the purpose of George Floyd was to be murdered by police. It was the purpose of this, you know, one thing to inspire a higher budgeted thing made by another studio.
It was always meant to be this way. It was destiny.
Yeah.
TM. Yeah, so we're able to then move into the third act finally, and that's where we get the one-on-one face-offs. Liu Kang is able to just murk Cabal, and I love Cabal, his fucking Brooklyn accent, his super speed, and all that, but Liu Kang really is OP with his fire dragon ability. Like, I don't see too many people walking away from that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Overall with the fireballs, I've been sort of disappointed over the course of it because it felt that was where it most reminded me of the sort of like Avatar Last Airbender level of,
for sure,
of like, you know, real life fighting effects. And I don't know, it's tough to unless they're shooting like you know, like, I don't know, something with substance to it that it detonates or something. If it's just like, you know, flames coming out, it often looks kind of corny.
Like, oh yeah, it's cool. I also have gasoline straws up my sleeve too that can shoot out.
I also can
Wonderful.
like shoot deodorant out of a can and light it on fire, like, you know, spark a lighter and produce the same effect.
Well, yeah, I mean that effect just in general, like you mentioned, is a little cheesy. So again, just glad that we got a quick dragon out of it, and then that was it. Because, you know, certainly not in that final fight that happens later could they have used a giant fire-breathing dragon god that appears from someone's arcana. Not at all. No, none whatsoever. Then Jackson Rico, the fucking Warhammer 40K looking motherfucker with again the giant hammer. They end up fighting each other, and I loved how Rico, when he got his shit hit by Jax, he did the standing and wobbling around in a circle move. That was delightful. Almost as delightful as watching fucking Jax just explode that poor man's skull when he clapped.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was definitely a top 3 kill, I'd say.
Yeah, these motherfuckers work. Okay, Jax. All right. Fine. I'm glad you've come to terms with this. Your body dysmorphia isn't actually affecting you too much as you have become a killing machine. Congratulations.
Yeah, just PSAs about the dangers of body dysmorphia, because when you're clapping, when you're you know, clapping someone's ears as a bit and you just explode their head, it's becoming a danger.
It's an epidemic. Then Sonya and Kano face off, and then Sonya basically just, I mean, it's fairly easy. She just kills Kano immediately. Like he laser eyes all around her house. She then just sneaks up on him, and then fucking Chekhov's garden gnome comes into play and just
Couldn't
stabs him right in
Raiden
the
have
eye.
sent them to like fight anywhere? Like, why did he have them destroy her home?
Raiden's an asshole, I think, is our general
dude,
takeaway.
seriously. What a dick.
Could have gone anywhere, but instead, just this other weird setting that we already have made. I wonder why we're recycling this set piece. Sonya then is able to get her Arcana, and whereas everyone else needed, hours and hours and hours of training, she just immediately has the ability to shoot energy blast from her hands. Just, again, a born natural at this, and just obliterates Melina, shoots her right through the chest. Which, again, maybe not that classic a kill, but I enjoyed it quite a bit there. There was a bit of, I suppose, of a missed opportunity for Sonya to do like the real power was in you all along, which I was almost hoping for with her fight against Kano. Like, she somehow is able to harness her Arcana somehow, and then she kills Kano that way. And then she gets the dragon mark. But again, no, it stays a boys club only. The dragon is a dick, is what I'm getting at here. That's what it stands for.
The dragon said, "Dudes rock."
Then the big bad eventually shows up, and that's Sub-Zero. So he pops up and he says to Cole that he's abducted his family and they're frozen alive. So it's time for him to do a one-on-one fight at the gym where Cole used to train, which again, recycling a set piece, covering it all up with giant plastic and then bubble wrap, basically, to make it look like ice everywhere. Just, oh boy. Oh, great. Okay. Really pushing the envelope here, aren't we all? So initially overpowered by Sub-Zero, Cole and Sub-Zero fight, and that's when his blood gets on the weapon of his ancestors, and that's when, oh my god, all right, finally we got the good movie back all of a sudden, because Scorpion appears and he says his line. He says the line, everyone. He says, "Get over here," and they duke it out. It's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Really pumped up on this movie, huh, JJ? Calm down a little bit here.
I mean,
No,
hey,
it's great. It's fine.
yeah.
The scene that was advertised in the trailer ends up happening with about 10 minutes left in the movie, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh yeah,
It's
the one
whatever.
everyone went nuts for too. That actually did bother me a little bit, because the what the trailer ended with, the most watched trailer of all time or whatever, was that the fucking blood ice stabbing, whatever the fuck was.
God,
happens
that's
in
so
the,
fucking sick.
Yeah, it
It's
is
so
really
good.
dope, but it's like the last 7 minutes of the movie that happens.
Yeah. Because, I mean, after that, it then kind of becomes Cole and Scorpion working together to fight against Sub-Zero, which is basically Cap and Bucky versus Iron Man in Civil War.
Right.
Like, it's almost like shot for shot, the same kind of scene of what we get there, which is, needless to say, felt a little bit like overkill. But then eventually we get to see Scorpion use his toasty line and do the fucking hellfire breath. So it's all good.
Did he do toasty? I missed that.
Well, I mean, he didn't say toasty.
Oh,
but,
okay, all right.
After he does hellfire, the guy pops up and says toasty. It would have been
I was
cool.
wondering if that was going to be in it.
Yeah, it would have been cool if Cole said toasty, but
Yeah.
that would mean that Cole would have to have a personality, and as we established, that can't happen in
Right.
this movie. He has to. I don't know, I won't be surprised if he doesn't pop up in the sequel. They're like, and Cole is living his life with his family. They're safe. That's all Cole cares about. He saw a plastic surgeon and he got rid of the dragon mark. Weird how you could just go ahead and do that. Oh well.
This whole movie felt like the "say the line" Simpsons meme. Like, just like, yeah, it's you.
Kano wins. Flawless victory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some shit indeed. So then Shang Tsung, then after all of his current champions are dead, that's again where he says, like, death is not the end. And before going back to Outworld, he says that they got rid of his champions, but he will return with armies, which again, to draw a parallel, this is exactly like Zack Snyder's Justice League when Darkseid says to prepare the Armada. Like, it's the exact same basic formula,
except done even more lazily, with like no visual reference for like what is this other world? Like, well, what does it look like? Who are these people? What's going on here? How does this work?
I really would love it if Outworld was just like 30 square miles in Australia. Like that's actually just all Outworld.
Just the exact same set. Like it's yeah. It's an Australian film through and through.
It's wonderful. Then comes the scene that really honestly pisses me off about Raiden. Like, this is where I went like, oh, he is the asshole. Because Raiden then declares that he's now beginning a new list of warriors in preparation for the next tournament. And so then he signs all of the current champions to go find these people, right? So he knew where the other champions were. These other champions have the mark, and he didn't recruit them for this current life or death battle for the fate of the entire universe.
Wait,
yeah, Raiden sucks.
So he recruited them to recruit them. So
yeah, it's a pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah,
Raiden's about to really pitch some fucking tummy teas is what he's about to do.
Yeah, he's Q.
Again, just real sucky. Cole then tells his gym manager / boxing manager, MMA manager guy, that he's no longer going to be fighting for $200 a night. Instead, he's going to Los Angeles, going to Hollywood.
$300 a night.
Oh, I'm sorry, 300. Don't want to sell the guy short here. Yeah, he just says he's going to Hollywood, and then the camera pans and we see that he's actually gonna go look for Johnny Cage. So, yeah, that's cool. Although, probably to the gym manager guy, he thinks that Cole is gonna go off to join the Church of Scientology or something. Probably. Like,
yo, that'd be cool if they had that as Johnny Cage's backstory.
that he's a Scientologist.
He's a Scientologist.
I mean, honestly, that would be dope, and it might mean that we get Tom Cruise in the next movie. So,
that
wouldn't Tom
rock.
Cruise be a great Johnny Cage?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be great.
They would
Zack
have
Snyder
to hire all
directing...
new actors that are a foot smaller, though.
Well, I think they could, work some movie magic, or they could play to that where he's actually a foot taller. They use the same trick that
That's
they
his
did
arcana,
with.
that he's just really short.
He's regular size, but then he activates his arcana and he shrinks down.
He shrinks like 7 inches.
Yeah, so that's the basic rundown of the movie. So when now it comes to the question of like, what was the most memorable moment? And for me, I gotta say, it's probably either anything with Kano, but in reality, it's that fucking saw scene. I think the Kung Lao fucking sawing that lady in half. That is everything you need to know about this movie. Yeah,
that definitely got the biggest reaction at my house. If not Kano ripping Reptile's heart out. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. That's a definite, 1A, 1B.
Yeah. And he says Kano wins after he does it too, which is great.
Yeah, a lot of good gifts to drop when in the days after the latest bread tuber has been canceled and you're doing a victory.
It's good. What about you, Grift? Any other scenes that pop up as memorable?
The guy clapping the guy's head and exploding it.
Fuck yeah.
Like again, kill shot memes.
It could work. Okay, now the moment of truth here, y'all. How many trash cans for anyone listening at home? It's 1 to 4 trash cans. The more trash cans it has, the worse the movie is. So what way are we going here? JJ, how about you go first?
I'm gonna give this 2 trash cans.
Okay.
Because it's not. I think that it did what it intended to do, and I don't know. I mean, I don't really think this movie wanted to be held up to any sort of scrutiny. I just, like I said, I think it set out to deliver on the promise that it was going to make a bunch of 30-year-olds go, oh yeah, and it did. So whatever. It's Mortal Kombat. It's based on a video game where one guy fights another guy on the screen. And, you know, it's like, I wasn't looking for like a Paul Thomas Anderson film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or a Paul W.S. Anderson film.
Not even that. Yeah.
Grift, what about you?
I'm gonna say 2.5. Probably a little more trash cans because I didn't have the nostalgia factor working for me because I wasn't, you know, familiar with the franchise. So a couple really, really cool kills. That was fun to see, but pretty much you could fast forward through all the talking scenes because I am not. It didn't invest me as an outsider in like the backstory and lore that they were trying to build.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in that same boat. I wrote down 2 big trash cans. Like they're both overflowing. It could be 2.5, in other words, but you know, really didn't want to bring out that third trash can and halfway fill it. That sort of thing. I mean, the movie, $50 million movie, meant to appease the fans who are in their 30s, meant to bring subscribers in for HBO. I think it checks all of those boxes. I just really wish that it was actually a goddamn Mortal Kombat movie instead of a setup for what will be an actual Mortal Kombat movie. Like, you know, it could be called Mortal Kombat Tournament, probably, since they love adding colons to fucking sequels. So, looking forward to that.
Mortal Kombat bracket.
Now we get to plugs, though. It's a wonderful time. JJ, what's going on in your world? Where can people find you?
Any streaming service, just search JJ Demon. I got a side project called Josie Wales, but you can find that too by just searching JJ Demon. And like I said, a couple of weeks, I'll have a new single out and a lyric video. And then shortly after that, the full album. I just actually got a text from my engineer who's sending me one of the last demos tonight. So that shit should be fully mixed in the next week or two. And then that's out.
You love to see it, folks. You love to see it.
You love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
absolutely. I mean, just personally, like, Josie Wales was one of my top played albums 2020.
For real, dude? That's awesome.
Dude,
thank you.
Spring and summer last year, I was bumping that all the time, like quarantine mode.
Oh shit, man, that makes me happy as hell, dude.
Yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's the first plug I'll give. But again, like I said earlier, go search Boyle at grift.shop for the new stuff if you want to help kill an internet joke. You know, we're gonna beat it dead into the ground, and because you know, culture is only for a small select group of people, not for the masses.
That's what we need to keep in mind, most importantly, right?
Yeah. Bring back aristocracy and their and their view of culture.
It's returned, but with a V. I'm not sure how you are supposed to pronounce it, but that to tradition, exactly. Yeah. For the show, go ahead and check us out on Letterboxd and Twitter. Also, go ahead and follow the Gigo podcast on Spotify if you're listening to us on iTunes and you choose Spotify, because it is the superior music listening, podcast listening platform just in general. Or, you know, if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Either way, we got to get that sweet cross promotion. That's the important thing. But most importantly, go ahead and tell your friends and family about it. Mostly your family, because that's really what family members love to hear, is what podcasts you're listening to. That's
especially older conservative ones.
Yes. And you know what? Go ahead and open up their iPhones. Allow them to subscribe to our podcast. That's the important thing. Put us into their feeds. We can change the world that way. But yeah, I guess it's time to get out of here. You guys ready to say goodbye?
Peace.
Deuces.